Hi, it's Jane with Serendip PT. Today we're talking about pelvic organ prolapse. You might be wondering what that is. Well, watch our video inside and you're going to learn about the symptoms of pelvic organ prolapse, exactly what organs are descending, and what to do about it. So if you have any questions, stay tuned to the end and you'll find out how to get in touch with us.
Pelvic organ prolapse. So inside of our bladder, inside our pelvis, we have our bladder, we have our rectum, and we have our uterus. And sometimes those organs can descend and they start to appear through the vagina. They might appear right at the entrance, they might descend through it, they might actually fall the whole way through. That's the pelvic organ prolapse. The symptoms of that are a heaviness or a pressure in this region. There can also be inability to completely empty or completely defecate, empty out your bowels, because that organ is sitting there acting as an outlet obstruction to either the urethra or the bowels. So those organs need to be raised back up, if you will.
Is that something you can prevent, or is that?
Yes. Yeah, so that goes back to our strengthening. So let's think about this. So we're going to use the example, since we're on the shore, of we've got a dock, and I know this is not how we dock boats, but I'm just going to use this example. So we've got a dock and we've got a boat. A boat is tied between these two docks, and you've got your lines out there anchoring that thing in. And everything's fine, it's hanging out there just fine in the water, and then we drain the water, and that boat's going to drop down. So those lines are going to get stretched out as it's trying to support that boat without water under it. The boat is your organs. The lines are your ligaments supporting those organs. And the water underneath are your pelvic floor muscles. So what you have to do is have really strong pelvic floor muscles to be able to act as a buttress to help lift them up. So to answer your question, Diane, yes. Is that something you can prevent? Yeah, you want to start to do your Kegel exercises and create that nice supportive sling underneath of our pelvis. Another reason, though, that pelvic organ prolapse can happen is because there's tension inside. So if I pull on my dress here, you can see that it deforms. You see how my top moves a little bit. Or if I pull on the table, you see how everything starts to go tractioning down toward it. So this child's toy is a nice example of a tensegrity model. So if I traction through this elastic string, the whole thing becomes deformed. Now, if I let go of the tension, it goes back to where it should have been. There's research that shows that pelvic organ prolapse can happen because there's a downward tension in the pelvic floor or in that pelvic region that is tractioning those organs downward. If we can release that tension through pelvic floor therapy, through the Therawan, through balancing of the joints, then those organs can resuspend to where they want it to be. Just like if I had put a stitch in my dress and then I release the stitch, the dress can go back to where it needed to be. So generally, pelvic organ prolapse is because of muscle weakness, but it can be because of tension. And the fix is to lengthen those restrictions and to strengthen the pelvic floor muscles. We always want to lengthen before we strengthen. If something is too short, strengthening a short muscle doesn't really work. You can't get it any shorter, so you have to lengthen before